You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. I needed systems thinking when I was younger. Well, the right systems thinking, because I was given the wrong systems. My mind was dirtied up with miseducation. Education in society that dirties our minds with non-self-serving concepts or unself-serving concepts. Either way. A lot of outdated thoughts, irrelevant. Understanding systems that run reality is what we need. That is the key to uplifting yourself. That is the key to uplifting humanity. Peace. Travis Well. It's Pure Sound Daily Business. Work a system. Don't be like most. All sorts of systems. I think the people, especially that have the outward success, the success we can see, that we're judging our insides by their outside, saying, man, it must feel good to be that successful, to have that many achievements. But we really don't know what's going on inside of them. That's not what we're talking about on this episode, though. We are talking about what we see on the outside. We are judging a book by its cover. So we're not going in deep on this piece. At least not deep into people's motives and belief. Just talking about a system. And that people, let's say two things that are coming to mind for me, and I would throw personality type in here. People that are successful in connecting with people, master connectors, connecting emotionally, and people that are masters at achieving, big time, small time. Usually people that do big things are masters of doing little things. But sometimes people can just get a bunch of stuff done. That's what we say, they, as Coach Michael Burt says, I think it's, confusion is active achievement, just like a lot of movement, but not clarity on it. I don't know. I'm not getting that quote right. Anyway, keeping it moving. People that do a lot of things, get a lot of things done, but then they don't have a big picture, right? Feel like they're spinning their wheels. All those things are true. I'm just getting to the point of saying, as far as in the scope of this episode, of just when we see, or even if we see it in our mind, this idea of doing big things, being successful in business, being successful in relationships, just getting things done. It doesn't have to be quote unquote business. It can just be the business of life. Getting our chores done, keeping our house in order. These type of achievements. And I think the people that we just kind of look at and say, oh yeah, they got it together. I think they do have a natural inclination. They have a natural talent for that. It's subconscious for them. They just get how to achieve. They get how to connect, how to move people, how to move into achievements, how to move into goals, how to move into success. They just get it. But just because you get it and it's unconscious, meaning you don't have to think about it and you probably can't explain it, doesn't mean they're not working a system. I think this is one of the ways my mind been dirtied. I don't know. Y'all can tell me if your mind been dirtied this way. Is thinking that, for instance, there's a lot of people, in my opinion, that I've met that say with connecting with other people. Just, oh, you just do this, you just do that. But there's so much of a system within them that they're unconscious of how they go about connecting with another person. They're really doing anyone else a disservice that doesn't have the same skill by saying, oh, just do this one thing. What they're not realizing is there's 10 different things leading up to that one thing that they're conscious of. So it's 10 things they're doing unconsciously to get the one thing done that they're telling someone else to do consciously. Even saying in sports is why they say the ones that have the most talent, the greats, aren't good coaches. It's because they haven't had to actively think about, another word for that is be conscious of, how they do what they do. So if they haven't really been studying themselves or had to do tremendous work on overcoming their lack, therefore really understanding themselves before they became great, if one of those two things ain't happening, then they're usually not that good at coaching another person. So this is why we have coaches. A lot of coaches, me included, are people that have been through a lot of hard things, that couldn't do things as naturally well as other people. So we've had to study. We've had to go deep within ourselves. We've had to make changes. We've had to uncover, flip over some rocks, clean up under some rugs, go into the deep of our mind, go into the deep of our hearts. And some people, in not in every area of life, there are areas of life that I'm very natural at. I'm very natural at researching. And I constantly forget how when I just say, I'm assuming, to all you listening out here, I'm assuming this isn't the only podcast you're listening to. Even why I make the podcast the way I do, this is an assumption of what I seen or what I like. Because I'm like, what would I like? I would like something that's short, that gives me that hit. It gives me some motivation, gives me some energy, gives me some quick hitters with some systems thinking. Big idea, big vision, systems thinking. And just get that hit in, day out. 12 to 15 minutes. Then I can listen to the other things. Because I got about 3 audio books I'm listening to consistently. I'm not saying I listen to all 3 every day, but a lot of times I do. Even if it's just whether I listen to them for a long time or a little bit. I listen to audio books like Netflix episodes. Listen to about 20 minutes. I'm like, all right, I'm good on that history. Let me listen to this biography. All right, I'm good on that biography. All right, let me listen to this business book. All right, I'm good on that business book. Let me listen to some personal development. That's how I listen to audio books and podcasts for that matter. I like to switch it up. So this is how I created this piece. But again, this is my natural system. And I will read a book. And I take notes. I take notes more than I journal. Just write out my ideas, write out thoughts. Been doing it for years. Just doing it. And then I got intention. And I'm still working on that system. Even today, when I'm recording this right now, it's like I'm still trying to refine my system. Because I like the freedom, really mentally. I like to be mentally free and think about things when I feel like thinking about them, when the spirit hits me. So if I'm going to do that, that means when I'm taking action, it's got to fit in. So everything's got to have a flow to it. So I'm still working on a system that works well and dances well with how I naturally be with my thought. As an introvert when I'm taking my time. And it's necessary to the business because this is all coming out of my imagination. I'm creating these programs. I'm creating this podcast. I take notes, spit it out into the microphone. And then, of course, the more intimate the product, also the more in depth I go in a product, the more time I take to create a product or service, that's where the value goes up. It's the concept. So this is all business stuff. But man, did I need systems for relationships. I could connect. I can connect. But I never took the time to even consider that. It's like, how could I systemize this? Am I paying attention to what I'm doing, how I'm saying it? And this gets back to what I was talking about. People that are good at connecting don't think about their speaking in a sing-songy voice. Something I learned from personality type profiling. Shout outs to Personality Hacker. Shout outs to the community. Now, this is one of the things we notice for feelers, especially extroverted feelers. Harmonizers. No, that's a way of harmonizing. Using your voice to smooth things over. Sing-songy voice, nice voice inflection. It ain't what you say, it's how you say it. However, these people got both. Imagine that. They say the right things, and how they say it is the right way. It's amazing. Most of the time, I do half. I said two things. I do 0.5 most of the time. When I'm on a good day, I'm doing 1 out of 2. And every once, it's very rare I get both of them right. But sometimes, most of the time, I'm doing 1. Most of the time, I'm not saying what's supposed to be said, and I say it in a way that sounds good. So I lean towards being able to say something so it sound all right. But the words I use usually ain't the right words. But man, if I had known that earlier, I don't know. Would I be better, or would I just be more manipulative? That's when things get heavy, right? Because after all, spent a lot of years drinking and drugging. So who knows? I didn't always have this big vision, being of service to humanity. I think I always had it in me. But through various things of having a dirty mind, having low self-esteem, being ignorant, and how to develop my own value as well as bring value, I was in a bad place for a lot of years, from my youth to adulthood. So having better tactics doesn't necessarily mean being a better person. So there's always a bigger idea of what we're talking about when we're talking about a system. And the system of society in general. Giving our youth, giving each other actual, usable, relevant systems to use. So what systems do you have? When we talk about a bunch of systems put together, now we're talking about a paradigm. We have a paradigm we were born into, and we have a paradigm we're living within, in our own head. What paradigm are you living within? And are you working to make a change for the betterment of yourself, to walk, step, run towards your vision, build your value, be great? What is your system of greatness? Travis Odewell, it's Pure Sound Daily Business. Don't be like most. Work a system. Peace.